Hello everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic and that you're all having a great day. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. There's a link in the description below. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. We have swung rapidly back over to the really weird side of the cryptocurrency space. I'm not sure what's going on the internet or what is going on the internet, but for some reason, this is currently where we are. This is probably one of the weirdest stories that we've had in a while, and I find it fascinating that people took and are taking this seriously in any sort of way. For those of you who missed the news, Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is one of the most popular basketball players ever. He was very popular in the 90s. It was him, Michael Jordan, Dennis Rodman, and I'm missing one person. I'm missing another person. Anywho, Scottie Pippen, for some reason in the last month. No. It's been about 2 months now. If you're not on Twitter, you should be. He recently got into Bitcoin kind of out of nowhere. He mentioned that what's this Bitcoin thing? What is this Ethereum? Can people explain them to me? And then he just started posting quite often about Bitcoin and how awesome it was and amazing it was and how it was going to change the world and how he liked this and so and so. And everyone was like, cool. Another celebrity who's gotten into the cryptocurrency space. Scottie Pippen took things multiple steps further when he announced that he's actually been dreaming about crypto. Cool. Okay. It happens every now and again. But Scottie Pippen revealed to people on Twitter that apparently he had a dream with Satoshi Nakamoto, who basically told him, Scottie Pippen, who had the dream that Satoshi Nakamoto spoke to him, saying that Bitcoin is going to $84,650 on the 5th of November of this year. When you see something like this, you kind of go, actually multiple things. You kind of think he needs to maybe go get some rest, go to his island somewhere. I assume he's very rich. He has an island. Or just that people will kind of whatever. No, a lot of people so people joked about it. And then a lot of other people also believed it. And we're like, hey, what if he's right though? What if the price actually does go there? This also November 5th and 4th, usually for those of you who aren't privy to it, is when the election is happening. So he's expecting Satoshi Nakamoto went to him in a dream and said that Bitcoin is going to $84,650 on the 5th of November. He said, Satoshi Nakamoto visited me in a dream last night and predicted that Bitcoin will be at $84,650. That's a very exact number. If he had said 85,000, all right. 84,650. Okay, on the 5th of November, and then he had the nerve to write the words "not financial advice." So like I said, we've swung back over, and maybe, I'm going to try and silver lining it here. Maybe there are a lot of people who were into basketball in the 90s. Maybe he, caught their attention and they were like, oh, if he's into it, I should be into it as well. Maybe it made things more bullish where people were like, hey, the price doesn't have to go down when rich people keep buying all the time. Or, maybe something along those lines. But as you might have imagined, this was incredibly popular news, not slightly popular news. It was probably... Okay, that's the Scottie Pippen news. I'm certain none of you expected me to say that name or those words or that it was about a dream, but at least it got people talking again. I guess that's one of the more important things about this news story. Cool. As long as I've been in this space, I don't think anyone else has publicly ever said that they had a dream of this sort. So if he's correct, then he's clearly the new Mike Novogratz. But we'll see what happens. Don't forget September, October, and then also subsequently November and December are meant to be the prices going up month. So cool. That's the Scottie Pippen had a dream about Satoshi Nakamoto news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, the institutions, the larger companies, anyone who has a lot of money, they're trying to basically, the word's not dissect, but fractionalize Bitcoin in as many different ways as possible. And this is from the vantage point of a purist, if you will, is actually a gigantic red flag. This is very similar to the idea of Bitcoin futures and even Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin ETFs are bullish bearish for the space in that new money flows in exponentially into the space, causing price rises or eventual price rises, if you will. The rich gobble up as much of an asset as they want through the ETFs, as it is a lot easier for them to do so in a securitized way. The bearish is that they can basically control the market far more than they were ever able to before, simply by having any number of outflows or inflows. This, coupled with futures, creates a dynamic duo where you can buy as much as you want through the ETFs, and then you still have control over the futures. And you push the futures down and you short them and you show people that the price in the futures is going down. This inadvertently causes our prices to go down. The other big mania that everyone's trying to do right now are any form of derivatives, things that derive, if you will, from Bitcoin. And the problem is that this is kind of the last digital nail in the blockchain. You understand what I'm saying, for basically utter and complete control over the space. Remember years ago when we had news of like that of the Wyckoff chart? Rich people have been signaling to us for a very long time that they have control over the market. And a lot of this stuff usually gets thrown out there as a need for liquidity in the market. Well, Bitcoin simply won't do well unless we have extra liquidity. In order for Bitcoin to really do well, we need Bitcoin to have this thing. If Bitcoin is going to have institutional investors, we have to have that brand new thing. And Bitcoin has basically de-evolved from this gigantic worldwide system that everyone is capable and free of using, which is still the case, to basically a system that is going to be owned by and run by the wealthiest individuals on the planet. And this seems to be the next step. And that's in every facet. And a lot of times if you hear things like that, I don't know why, but people kind of get excited about their altcoins as if that's going to be the thing that takes this is kind of it. The market solidifying itself and Bitcoin will remain number one. We will have tons of new people in the market, but this market is going to be treated very similar to gold when they first got their ETFs. For those of you who missed it, there was a bit of a drawdown and then basically a gigantic push upward, which is the kind of push upward that everyone in crypto is also expecting. But gold is completely controlled by banks and institutions. You may buy some, you may buy a fraction of some, you may buy a little coin, you may buy a whole coin of 1 ounce. Gold is completely controlled in the same exact way that they're gearing up to basically control Bitcoin. The world's first electronic stock exchange is asking, wink, the US SEC to approve index options. According to a new report from Reuters, the NASDAQ is seeking approval from the US SEC to list a NASDAQ Bitcoin Index Options XBTCX product. The SEC has not yet approved options based on any of the spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds. This includes an application from NASDAQ to trade options on BlackRock's $21.3 billion iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF. The chief investment officer of the crypto exchange Bitwise, Matt Haugen, said, "It's important for options on Bitcoin to be available for this asset class to be fully normalized. That is also a gigantic lie. I don't know who this man is, but I'm sorry to this man. That is a complete lie. These cryptocurrency whales continuously have been telling people for a very long time that we need these things in order to be a full market, that we need rich people to have control over the system in order for anything to be slightly normalized. We have something that was created to get us away from the old system. That is not was, that is the point of it. To not have to have paper Bitcoin, to not have to have additional fragmented digital versions of Bitcoin that aren't really Bitcoin. That's part of the problem with fractionalized banking and the reserve and all these other things that we have, where a bank is allowed to say, well, we have $1 million, but we can still divvy out or rent out or loan out $100 million because they never expect everyone to rush to the bank at the exact same time. And then when people do, they have a gigantic problem for it. So the plan now for all of these companies and institutions and yada, 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 is to basically control as much of the market as possible to produce the amount of liquidity that they need to produce, to basically be extra market makers so that the market cannot exist without them. Bitcoin will be, and is already kind of, in everything. But, my friends, the problem, the issue that people keep missing out on, especially when I read comments and people seem to be completely delusional. Do you understand that rich people don't like you, right? You know that you're not meant to be in this market or any market? That they don't care that you want to buy a home because they're buying it all for themselves? You realize that these people, like 0%, they don't want you in this market, and they've been trying to do everything that they can to flush you out of this market. You're not supposed to become rich ever. You're a consumer. That is your job since birth. You are meant to consume and boost up the economy. There was just a video. See if you can find it. It was from, was it CNBC? Or maybe MSNBC. One of those letters, look it up. And the video title on YouTube was something along the lines of like, economy slow down because of underconsumption core. For those of you who don't know, there's a trend that should be more than a trend right now that's going around on TikTok and other places where people are telling other people and the word's not convincing them, encouraging them to spend less, save your money, invest more. You have a pair of shoes that, are 2 years old. Keep wearing them. You don't need new stuff all the time. And the literal goal is to basically encourage people not to spend as much, to not be consumers. That news platform made a video calling this a danger to the economy. Because the problem is that people aren't supposed to be saving. You are always meant to spend. Haven't you thought it really weird at all that people are people have always been living paycheck to paycheck, but now it's like literal paycheck, like the entirety of your paycheck. The people who run the system are literally seeing how far they can push before things break. And then they'll bring it back a tiny bit just so that you're always on the edge. Your rent, your insurance, the things, your car deed, the gas you have to pay, all these things, they add up, and they know mathematically in each state, in each county, in each place, how much that people are getting paid. And they're squeezing it to the limit. You are not meant to have savings. That's what's so ironic about it. When people are actually getting paid, and I dare even say making good money, and they're not saving and they're not investing. You are playing into the game. You are constantly making sure that you're doing exactly what they want you to do by not investing, by not saving, by not having an emergency savings account. There was a video that I just saw. This was, I think, from CNBC. And it was this woman talking about it, like, you know, how much people need to save by a certain age. Not one of those YouTube things that like make you feel bad. You need $38 million by 28, bro. But she was going off of actual numbers. If you plan on retiring at 65 or 67, she was like, this is like the basis of what people would need. She was like, by the time you're 40, you should have, since starting work at 18, because you're expected to basically work for the entirety of your life, that you should have by 40, 1 year or 2 years worth of pay saved up. And then she chuckled a little bit after because she was like, that's not the reality. She's like, people would have had to start saving when they were younger. You can't convince someone who's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28 to save for their future. They don't care. Like they want to go out and party and have fun and do all these other things. So then by the time you get to 30, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so behind. But then you're discouraged to actually save more. So what do? You spend. You give everything. You consume. And then you realize you have nothing. That's why I always say, like, think of these 5 to 10 year periods. I always give myself a 5 to 10 year goal. Always. It also has to do with like saving money. How much do I want to invest in? How many more new assets do I want to have? Like, it's literally so to making sure that I like remain ahead because I don't want to slip backwards ever. That's literally the point of the system. And this is what when you hear me saying all these things all the time and I'm constantly talking about like, all right, might be time for you to have a discussion with your portfolio, is because they're taking everything. They're taking every single asset that's out there. And anyone who says otherwise, you're delusional and you need help. It is crazy to think otherwise. These people buy and all they do is absorb and they don't relinquish. They keep everything for themselves. And what we're witnessing a literal reshuffle of world finances. When countries got into the mix years ago, when countries began to buy and use and mine Bitcoin, I was like, okay, this is the moment where it clicks, the light bulb comes on, light bulb's kind of dim, but it's still on. You know how many retail, every day, we just had news recently again, and it was also in the news, but I don't have it here. The amount of retail investors, everyday normal people who keep leaving the crypto market. You see the levels of accumulation. You hear about it every single day. You hear about the approvals of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs in all these different countries and the records that they're making of all this money like flowing in. Recently, there were, I think, like 8 days worth of outflows from Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. And the outflows were like $7 million, $14 million. It wasn't anything crazy or significant. And then we had 1 day of inflows. It was like 114 million across all of them around the world. And everyone was like, how'd that happen? Where's this money coming from? They're doing it to lie to you. They're doing it to flush you out of the market. They don't want you here. It's insane. It's like, it's literal insanity. Like it's probably the new definition of insanity. So many people are going to be so upset. I mean, even from a basic investing standpoint, if you're not investing, if you're not in stocks, if you're not in, dare I say bonds or anything, in the next 10 years, you're going to be so frustrated with yourself and then you're going to start to slide backwards. You won't have any, why am I not making it? Why am I not doing anything? I have all these people who keep, and I see them, people who I know, and I keep track of a lot of people or like old friends and stuff like that on social media. And I see them posting like these frustrated things like, another day of work, another day of so-and-so. And I'm like, now's the moment you should be paying attention. Save money. Put 100 away per month. Put 150 away every single week. Save up what you can. Start investing. Get into dividend stocks. Make sure that you're making money so within the next 20 years, you have a good 2, 3, 4,000 coming to you every single month from stocks. No, that's not how it works. Everyone is not paying attention. It's freaking nuts. It's absolutely insane. And this is going to continue because I'm certain that I give it a good 10% of you actually are hearing what I'm saying. You refuse to listen. You don't want to actually hear what's going on. You know what's going to be the craziest thing in the entire world? And this happens every single time, and I'm waiting for it. I am waiting for this moment. Every cycle, when the bear market, I'm air quoting there, hits, like I mentioned before, my views go down. And it's disheartening because I'm like, these are the people who need to be in this market. Those are the ones who left. Gone. When the market picks back up, when Bitcoin goes to 85, 87, Scottie Pippen's dream, when it starts to go back up, these people will still stand on the sidelines waiting for 100,000. And I will see if I see it. My views will begin to pick back up. And these people will be desperate to make money because all they could think about was short-term gains and leaving the market. This stuff is integrated into our system. The NASDAQ, one of the largest stock exchanges on the planet, is trying to get Bitcoin options on their platform. Why would they want that? Why are they not ignoring it? Why are they not saying, oh, we'll wait and see what happens in the future? Why do they want this right now on their platform? How much money do they stand to make? How much bigger is this asset class going to get? 90% of you won't know because you're going to leave the market soon. If in the end of this month, or let's say mid-October, prices dip because everyone's scared and starts to go down, and then those coins get gobbled up by whales once again, what are you going to do? What happens in the other video that we just had where the guy was like, Bitcoin's going to $1 million mathematically. For those of you who missed it, he was saying, so many people sold between 52 and 57,000 out of fear, of it going down. And these people don't re-enter the market. We know that from Sentiment and Glassnode. We see these new wallets constantly gone. They buy a little bit, prices don't move, or they go down, they leave immediately. There is no staying power. There is no longevity in any of their investment strategies. No. It is not important for Bitcoin to have options. It is not important for Bitcoin to have futures. It is not important for Bitcoin to have ETFs. What's important is to make sure that billions of people on the planet know about it and actually get into the asset class. The only reason why Bitcoin further isn't advertised more everywhere, seeing signs about it in your bank, in your local so-and-so, is because the rich people want to own all of it. And when there's only crumbs left, that's when the masses will be told to get into the market. You are part of the masses. You are an early adopter. And still people aren't paying attention. This was very popular news, namely because anytime that any type of derivative of some sort for Bitcoin gets proposed, everyone gets really giddy and very excited, thinking that this is going to be the new thing that propels us. We had it for futures. We had it for mini futures. We have it for ETF. We have it for all these different things. It will improve liquidity within our market and within our space. But it's only creating a situation where the people who need Bitcoin aren't going to be in the market. Someone wrote that on Twitter. I was talking about the amount of retail who keeps leaving. And somebody wrote, no, we need these people in the market. I was like, yes, we do need them. But they refuse to listen, and you're not understanding. They keep leaving, and they only re-enter when prices go up. And then they sell, and then they remain poor. It's the loop over and over and over. You know how many people do you know would benefit greatly from the cryptocurrency market? And I'll say it this way. Typically, a lot of altcoins tend to do a 20 to 40x in price, typically during bull runs. How many people do you know would benefit from making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000? How many people do you know over the course of the last 2 years of putting money slowly into the market would benefit from making $150,000 from literally doing nothing? And how many of those people are actually in the market? The answer is none. And then they ask you how to get into the market when it's too late. They're taking over the entire space, and few people seem to care. It's going to cause a lot of strife in the future, whether you want to believe that or not. You think things are bad now? Imagine when the only new asset class that we've had in the last 150 years is around $50 billion, trillion dollars for the entire asset class, and no one can afford it. It's the same exact thing now. Think of years ago. How much, and I think of it this way. Think of how much XRP you could have gotten before it was 1 cent. There's no way you could even think of getting that much now with its current price. How much how much Ether could you have gotten when it was $1, $5, $8? Can you even afford an entire Ether now with its current price? How much Bitcoin could you have gotten? How much Cardano was also at 1 cent for a very long time. 1 cent, 1 literal cent. What happens if Cardano goes up to $3? Now imagine it goes up to $12. You can't afford 100,000 Cardano anymore. What are you going to do? Same thing with Polygon. People keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they get nothing, and then they're confused as to how did I miss the boat? What's happening? Every day we get news about these new things popping up for Bitcoin and for this asset class. Well, the price just went down 4%. I'm not buying. I see people on Twitter all the time bragging that they're not buying. Well, my friend told me that prices are going to go down to 32,000. That's going to be the bottom. Okay, cool. You have fun waiting for that. Meet you down there, bro. Can't wait. For those of you who were with this channel a long time ago, I think Bitcoin was at, oh gosh, maybe 9, 10, 11, 12,000. I forgot exactly when it was. And all those other YouTubers were telling you that Bitcoin was going down to $2,000. Remember that? And I was like, what? What? And there were a lot of people telling me in my comment section that the guy had great technical analysis. I didn't understand. I was simply too, okay, cool. When it goes to 2,000, I'm going to buy up all the Bitcoin. And I was like, all right, well, you do that. And then we started pumping again, and they were like, what happened? Why didn't you go down to, what are you talking about? Like, what in the world is going on? It's going to be a rough future, guys. It is going to be a terribly, terribly rough future. All these people living paycheck to paycheck, the people living six figures living paycheck to paycheck, keeping up with the Pippens, keeping up with the Jordans, trying to do their very best to portray that they're rich and have all this money. The people who do that the most are the brokest. Spending $10, $15, $20, $30,000 per year trying to impress you. Can you imagine making 6 figures and you're not saving at least 5 figures of those 6 figures? Remember that thing I told you? There was a video, last point. There was a video a couple of months ago with the guy who was making $800K a year and he lost his job and he was crying because he said he saved nothing. After, once again, hard 50% taxes. Give me a strong 50%. Guy had at least $400,000 after taxes. He said he spent all of it. He wanted to be a bachelor. He was living the high life, hanging out with all these people, going out to all these parties. Got fired, has nothing. It was crying, I don't understand. If I was making $400,000 after taxes, $200,000 minimum is being invested every single month. And and I dare even say a good 300K. Anyway, that's the NASDAQ is trying to get Bitcoin options. I don't know how much longer people can hold on not investing in this market. I mean, I'm losing my will to care a lot of times. It sounds like a joke. I tried for so many years personally to like get people to like listen to like investment advice. Hey, put money away. You should invest. And I thought it would be a lot better in crypto, but no. It's nearly the exact same. Right. I hope that you've all enjoyed. I hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.